Well, even though I'm sitting at a gambling table here preparing myself to play blackjack with the good people at Casino Arizona, Bob Davis is here saying don't gamble with your kids. I mean, it really is as simple as that. When you sit down to dinner tonight, lunch probably too late, because you haven't established those kinds of standards. But dinner tonight, as early as tonight, might be a different kind of an experience. And that doesn't mean you have an evening of okra, right?
No.
We're talking about the fact that you can eat well and still have a good time.
Correct. The biggest thing we're trying to get them to understand is, you can have the different foods, but moderation is the key. And getting that sufficient protein is a big part of it. Chicken
Bob Davis is the founder of the organization headquartered in Mesa called Strength of America Incorporated. And his slogan is also the statement that he makes about changing athletes, changing America one athlete at a time. The book, by the way, is a complete step-by-step youth strength, speed, agility, power, and flexibility manual. Where do they get the book?
They can get online at our website or call us direct.
Well, and we've got the phone number and the website up. All right, but who's going to oversee this? I mean, will mom and dad be responsible for strength, speed, agility, power, and flexibility if they read the manual?
Well, one of the big parts that we set up, when we started this program years ago, we developed our own line of weight equipment, speed, agility, DVDs, training programs, but we wanted to get a simple progress because we know there's millions of young coaches out there working with these kids that are volunteering their time to work with soccer, football, and they're expected to know everything about training and conditioning, and most of them are really putting out information they learned 20 years ago.
Are these kids at your place right now?
Yes, this is at our facility in Mesa, where this is our special equipment that we built and scaled down for the kids so they could actually fit it properly, and they enjoy it because it's a kids-only facility.
All right, but is a weight program a good idea for an 8, 9, 10-year-old?
It really is. Two of the things they found actually over 20 years ago in '86, the American Academy of Sports Medicine, Pediatrics Association, President's Council said actually it was good for them to do a regular program. The problem was they were ahead of their time and nobody was really out there to do anything properly for them. And one of the myths about training in kids was that it would stunt their growth by fracturing a growth plate. But really what you've seen is through this training, it's like physical therapy or anything. They're doing reps 10 to 20 times. We don't do 1 rep maxes on any of the lifts. It's just a condition, so they have fewer chances of injury in their athletics.
Yeah, but listen, try talking a kid into doing something that might hurt for a while that sounds like the word exercise. Isn't that a big barrier to get past?
Until they walk in the door and see what we're really doing with the kids. And actually our kids that are overweight really like the strength equipment because that's one thing they feel better at than the other kids. They're typically bigger and stronger. So that kind of hooks them into the whole exercise program because they feel good about themselves. They're actually doing the lifting. Now when it comes to the running and the conditioning, we modify those programs to progress it. And that's why we want to get them to understand it's not just running to get in shape, because you've got kids that are overweight and expecting them to go out and run a mile or 2 miles. It's not going to happen. And all they think they can do is run or swim. They don't want to put on a bathing suit either. With these different types of training, they find fun activities. They get done with the workout before they know it.
Now, is this available only during the summer?
No, we run it year-round. It's a year-round program that we do. And we've actually, excited about it, after 19 years of running the program, we actually now are starting to franchise and we're interviewing people so we can set more facilities up throughout the state.
Now, you know what parents are asking right now. They're saying, okay, I'm convinced it's a great idea. We have very little activity in school. I'm gone most of the day. We have very little activity other than playing video games at my house. And the Wii is fun, but the only thing you develop is the one arm, and you look kind of silly walking around the city that way.
Right.
So how much does it cost? That's what everybody wants to know.
Well, our program at our facility is $115 a month, but it's 3 hours of training every week for 4 weeks. We go on a month-by-month basis, but that's also why we set up our program with the DVDs and the books so that they can really find things at home to do, because not everybody can get down to Mesa right now, and until we get more facilities, we still need to get them active. We realized, my wife and I, a year ago, after 18 years, that we missed an entire generation of kids that we needed to help change their lives. So that's when we developed the franchise model, the books, the training DVDs, because we've got to get these kids up and moving. And that's where we're really trying to make a push through the Boys and Girls Club, YMCAs, and the schools with a lot of red tape to get through. But we need to make some changes on what these kids are doing on a daily basis.
And if you don't think that fits into your budget, and of course, obviously, there's nothing more personal than your own budget, compare that with the medical bills that also might likely be present If your child is inactive, overweight, potentially diabetic, and all of those things. I don't know really any more than you do right now about this program, other than the fact that it's been recommended by friends of mine, and that's one of the reasons why I had Bob on. It just sounds like a good idea because your school probably isn't doing it. Why, Bob? Whatever happened to PE?
Well, somehow we got into the situation that it wasn't a required thing. It wasn't a necessary thing. We need to think a lot more about the books and reading and math, which is all very important. But if you think of your average 10-year-old child and you put them in a classroom for 8 hours and expect them to sit all day, they've got to get out and get moving. They're not going to be able to think. And a lot of kids, by the time they're a freshman in high school, they've had one semester of PE. Their fulfillment is done. They're done with PE. So if they're not involved in athletics, they're finished. And most health clubs won't take them until they're 15, 16 years old.
When my wife found out that you were going to be on today, she said, you know, I cannot believe the absence of activity in school unless you happen to be an athlete who has already made that kind of a commitment. She said when she was in school, in order to graduate, she had to swim a certain number of laps. And I thought, man, I wonder how many kids right now would say, wow, back in the old days, it must have really been tough going to school.
It definitely, you know, with all the things, you know, of course, we had to walk uphill both ways and barefoot and all these other hard things.
In the snow, don't forget the snow.
Exactly, in the snow, especially
even
in
in
Nebraska. But we, you know, that's one of the things we've got to get emphasized again, is these kids need to be active every day. So what we try and show, and we're putting into different workouts, are, look, 12, 15 minutes worth of activity every day can make a huge difference in their life. And with 19% of our American kids now considered obese, not even just overweight, but obese, diabetes that used to be adult onset, but is now just type 2 because our kids now are obese and developing type 2 diabetes. It's scary.
Well, I'll tell you what, all you have to do is call these folks, find out if it works with your family. And you know what? If it doesn't happen to be this organization, Strength of America Incorporated, at least you know that you have a choice of your kid getting off of his or her duff, off the sofa, doing something actively, hopefully every day, you providing the right kind of nutrition. Otherwise, it's cholesterol tests at the age of 2. This is Pat McMahon, and we've been changing America one athlete at a time. I think you have the information. And next, you're going to find out about how you can whip Pat at blackjack. It doesn't really take a great deal of strength.